at the very tip of Texas, where the Rio Grande spills into the Gulf and the border blurs into the horizon. There's a strip of sand that feels like the edge of the world, a place where time doesn't keep score and the salt never really washes off. Here, the days move slow, the kind of slow that invites a run along the shoreline just to see where your feet and the tide might take you. You find stories in the small things, a rescued turtle getting another shot at the Gulf, a cold beer after 5 hot, humid miles, the hum of a beach bar before the night wakes up. This isn't about pace or PRs. It's about seeing a place the way the locals do, one stride, one sip at a time. Welcome to South Padre Island. Today, coming to you from South Padre, Texas, which is the very southern tip of Texas. Best beach in Texas. Let's go for a run. On the southern fringe of Texas, South Padre Island lies long and lean, like someone unspooled a ribbon of sand across the Gulf. It's just one link in a long chain of barrier islands that marches north for miles, skirting remote shores and bending with the currents, eventually reaching the busy beaches and boardwalks of Galveston. But it wasn't always its own place. Once, it was connected. Then, in 1962, the Mansfield Channel was completed, dividing Padre Island into two, leaving South Padre to drift slightly alone. The island was named after Padre Jose Nicolas Bailly, a Catholic priest who arrived in the early 1800s with cattle, faith, and the kind of optimism you probably need to live on a strip of sand. He built a ranch, ministered to locals, and left behind a name that somehow stuck. During Prohibition, the island's quiet coves made perfect drop points for rum runners coming up from Mexico. In 1927, an original wooden causeway opened the island to vehicles, but was ravaged by storms, causing locals to get creative. Later, in the 1950s, a concrete causeway went in. What followed was predictable. Fishermen, beachgoers, tourists, and eventually, the great American rite of passage, spring break. In the 90s and early 2000s, South Padre was spring break ground zero. Thousands of college kids, cheap booze, and MTV broadcasting the chaos to the world. It's calmer now, but the island still knows how to throw a party when March rolls around. The rest of the year, the island's got that easy beach town rhythm. Golf carts buzzing around, souvenir shops filled with cheap neon t-shirts, candy stores and restaurants on every corner. The air smells like salt, sunscreen, and slightly fishy. And there's always a bar close enough for a cold beer and a view of the water. Right through there is Gravity Park. Gravity Park is a small amusement park with an arcade, mini golf, and plenty of attractions like go-karts and carnival rides. There's a little something for everyone. And the surrounding area has many waterfront bars and restaurants right on the bay. And here is our halfway point, Padre Island Brewing Company. Let's go get a beer. Right in the middle of South Padre's beach town buzz sits a place that's been keeping locals hydrated since before craft beer was cool. This is Padre Island Brewing Company, the island's one and only craft brewery. It opened back in 1995, just as Texas was starting to figure out that beer could be more than light lagers and long necks. They brew everything in-house on a 10-barrel system, about 250 gallons a batch. You'll find classics like South Padre Blonde, Tidal Wave Wheat, and Speckled Trout Stout. Here, it's as casual as the island itself. Flip-flops welcome, fish tacos on the menu, and locals swapping stories over cold pints after a day on the water. They've seen it all. Hurricanes, spring breaks, and even the 2001 causeway collapse that cut the island off from the mainland. When the causeway collapsed, these guys stayed open. They hauled supplies by boat and kept the taps running. Padre Island Brewing Company isn't just a place to grab a beer, it's part of the island's story. So I am currently at Padre Island Brewing Company, enjoying a longboard lager. About 2 miles into the run. After this, I'm gonna peace out of here, head over to the beach where it'll be hopefully a lot cooler because that was nice and toasty on the way in. And we'll make our way back to the Airbnb and hop in the pool. While I enjoy this beer, let's check out some of the other attractions on the island. Cheers. One place you absolutely shouldn't miss is the Sea Turtle Rescue. The island is home to Sea Turtle Inc., one of the Gulf Coast's leading sea turtle rescue and rehabilitation centers. Founded in 1977, the organization treats injured and sick turtles brought in from across the region. Everything from boat strike injuries to cold stun events that can affect hundreds of turtles at a time. Each turtle undergoes medical evaluation, treatment, and monitored recovery in specialized tanks designed to strengthen them for release. The team also plays a major role in conservation and research, tracking migration patterns and supporting nesting efforts along Texas beaches. Once the turtles are deemed healthy and cleared by biologists, they're returned to the waters of the Gulf of Mexico, a process that has helped thousands of animals make their way back into the wild. In February of 2021, South Padre Island became ground zero for the largest sea turtle cold stun event on record. A winter storm dropped the Gulf waters into the 30s, leaving thousands of sea turtles lethargic, immobilized, and at serious risk. Sea Turtle Inc. and hundreds of area volunteers raced into action, rescuing more than 5,000 turtles in total. It was a massive coordinated effort, from local boat captains to nonprofit staff to community members, and it highlighted just how deeply intertwined this barrier island is with the fate of sea turtles. Just next door to Sea Turtle Inc., tucked into the marshes of South Padre, the Birding and Nature Center is a portal into a world that most visitors never see. Over 3,300 feet of raised boardwalks, shady bird blinds, and a 5-story observation tower that soars above the wetlands. Laguna Madre itself is a bit of a miracle, a hyper-saline lagoon where saltwater and freshwater mingle, bringing together an ecosystem that supports hundreds of species of birds. On any given visit, you might spot wading birds, shorebirds, and colorful migrators. More than 350 species have been documented here. And then there are the alligators. You might not expect gators on a barrier island, but here's how they got there. Thanks to a nearby water treatment plant, there's a freshwater pond that wild American alligators have occupied for years. Most ended up here due to storms. Some ended up being nuisance gators, people fed them, they lost their fear of humans, so they were relocated here to the sanctuary. You can even feed the baby alligators, and some giant tortoises too. At the center, you can catch daily gator talks and meet Big Padre, a massive rescued gator, and learn what it really means to coexist with wildlife in this strange, salty place. If you haven't had your fill of wildlife yet, dolphin watching tours on South Padre Island offer a close look at the resident bottlenose dolphins that inhabit the shallow waters of Laguna Madre. These guided trips move slowly through the bay, allowing visitors and researchers alike to observe the natural behaviors, surfacing, feeding, and traveling in small pods. It's a calm, methodical way to experience one of the Gulf Coast's most reliable marine wildlife encounters. Tours leave from both South Padre Island and Port Isabel. Cheers. Time to head back out on the run. I just finished up our beer and now we're headed toward the beach. And got a nice little breeze now. All right, gotta ease our way through this soft sand so my shoes don't fill up, but here we are at the beach. Gotta run all the way down there to those tall buildings and we'll be back. South Padre has 34 miles of accessible beach. Right now we're on the south part where you can only access it via foot, but if you head up to the northern portion before the pavement ends, you can actually get onto the beach and drive your vehicle on there. And if you like to hunt for seashells, just head all the way north until the pavement ends and then walk over to the beach and you will find Seashell Beach, where there is a multitude of seashells all over the place. All right, there we are, running down the beach. South Padre, Gulf of Mexico. And what's a visit to the coast
Was that a good pirate story?
South Padre carries traces of one of the Gulf's most notorious figures, the privateer-turned-pirate Jean Lafitte. In the early 1800s, Lafitte operated a sprawling smuggling empire along the Gulf Coast, and he used the shallow bays and hidden inlets around Padre Island as a quiet refuge while moving goods and evading naval patrols. Known as both a criminal and a folk hero, Lafitte famously aided Andrew Jackson during the Battle of New Orleans. Local lore claims that as Lafitte was forced out of Texas in 1821, his men buried chests of gold and valuables along the remote stretches of the coast, including Padre Island. Every so often, a stray coin or a fragment of a shipwreck keeps the legend alive. No treasure has ever been confirmed, but the rumor endures. Fishing is woven into the identity here. On the bayside, the shallow waters of Laguna Madre offer some of the best redfish, trout, and drum fishing on the Texas coast, a year-round ecosystem shaped by tides, grass flats, and wind. Offshore, deep-sea charters head into the Gulf in search of snapper, kingfish, and mahi. Whether you're casting from the jetties at Isla Blanca Park or heading miles out into the blue water, fishing here isn't just a pastime. It's one of the island's oldest traditions, and still one of its biggest draws.
That water. Somebody parasailing out there.
South Padre is a magnet for just about every kind of water sport. On the Gulf side, steady swells draw surfers and bodyboarders, especially during winter fronts. Across the island, the shallow, steady winds of Laguna Madre create ideal conditions for windsurfing and kite boarding, some of the best in the country. Parasail boats lift visitors high above the shoreline, while paddleboarders and kayakers slip through calm backwaters. Whether it's adrenaline or just a quiet ride on the water, the island offers a little of everything.
Might be a little windy, but got about a half mile left. Cruising down the beach. Gonna be nice to jump in that pool. You can't see it from here, but due south between the Brazos Santiago Pass and the Rio Grande is Boca Chica, home to SpaceX.
There are no public tours and no way to enter the launch site, but visitors can still experience it from a distance. Popular viewing spots are Isla Blanca Park and Boca Chica Beach, where, on launch days, you can see liftoff from just a few miles away. You can also drive the public roads near the site on non-launch days to get a safe roadside view of the launch complex and test stands. Whether you catch a static fire or a full Starship launch, the sight and sound of it from South Padre makes it one of the most unique experiences on the Texas coast. A cool event to check out in the fall is Sandcastle Days, a celebration of the island's identity as the sandcastle capital of the world. Master sculptors from around the world carve massive, intricate sand sculptures right on the beach, turning sand into temporary works of art. It's part competition, part festival, and one of the island's most creative traditions.
I wrapped it up. Okay, about 4.35 miles. My guess is 0 feet of elevation gain. There's the beach. I'm hot. I think it's about time to head back to the Airbnb, rinse off, and hop in the pool.
South Padre isn't polished, and it doesn't need to be. It's a place where the Gulf breeze never stops blowing, where shrimp boats, surfers, birders, and space-age dreamers all share the same horizon. You come here for the beach, but you stay for the odd, beautiful mix of it all. And as the sun drops behind Laguna Madre, you realize this island doesn't just offer an escape. It offers a reminder that life, at its best, can still feel simple.
Till next time, crush trails and drink ales.